Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. These readings are the general energies, trends and themes that we're likely to experience over the course of the week ahead. Lots of people have called this kind of like a spiritual coaching message or a motivational energy that comes from my intuition. So every week I will go into my intuition and I will ask the all what the message is, what the overarching trend or theme is that we need to know, that we need to hear. And sometimes this will play out like a vision in my head, sometimes it will be a feeling, a thought, an impression that will come through, and that's how I interpret the message that comes through. These are actually community led, so this actually came out of the desire and to understand certain patterns that we were noticing in the cards. So this weekly general actually came about because of the Radiant Reality community, and I will forever be grateful for each and every single one of you. I just want to send you all so much love from my heart to yours and say thank you so much for tuning in every week. Thank you so much for being a part of Radiant Reality. You know Rafi loves ya. So with that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So your intuitive message this week was, so in my mind's eye, what I actually saw was me walking towards a door, and it didn't actually have a handle. So it was just like this sort of stone door. And I was like, okay, well, how am I supposed to get in? And the message that I got from that was you have to use your willpower, right? So it's like I was getting or willing this door to open, and then the stone of the door actually started to crack. And what I took from that was, it was harder than it might have usually been, right? So the message that I got from this is, it's time to get back to work. And I've put back in brackets. We're always out here doing the work. If you're watching these types of videos, you're doing the work. If you are looking into your future, if you're delving into who you are, if you're trying to find that deepest sense of alignment or fulfillment in your life and to really connect with who you are at a soul level, you are doing that work already. However, there are times we ease up, there's times where life, is life and it happens. And there are times where we have to dig back in. It's kind of like that, like when you've been doing exercise for a long time and then you have like a 3-week break, and it's like, and then you get back to your cardio and you're like, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to cough something up there. This is one of those moments, right? So this week, whether it's your spiritual path or practice, whether it's your meditation path or practice or something of that nature, and it did feel like it was a spiritual thing that you need to get back to. If this is your gift or your discipline, for me, my disciplines are tarot and numerology, to a lesser degree, but still very relevant, astrology. Whatever your disciplines are or the mediums through which your work or your intuition works, if it's that you have to brush up on a skill or get back to the books, this is your message, right? This is the time. It's time for you to get back to work. Whoever needs to know that, whoever needs to hear that, that's what this week is going to represent. It's that moment where you get back on the bike. It's that moment where you pick up those weights again. It's that moment where you start doing your daily practice once more. So for the Destiny card, the overarching trend and theme from the Human Design Oracle deck, we have of course we do. We've got the Gate 50 and responsibility. And the message behind this card, as you might have guessed, yes, it's about responsibility, but it's actually about leading from or by example. Now, if you've been with me long enough, you know I love what I do. I relish in the fact that I get to do it. And I'm amazed at some of the stuff that comes through. However, I always tell everybody, and I make damn sure that everybody is fully aware, I am just another human being on their path that maybe has a little bit more insight in certain areas than others. That's it. I'm still human. I'm still prone to the ups and downs and the sways and everything. I just get a little bit more of a heads up, and sometimes I can sidestep the stuff that comes through, but ultimately I'm still on this path just like the rest of you. Now, that being said, this week, it's not only about it's time to get back to work, but this really is about leading by example. So this week, it's not like, even if you're not a parent, You are a role model to somebody. Trust me for that, all right? Like, even if you are not a parent, you are a role model to someone. Somebody is looking to you to say, you know what, because of that person, I know I can, all right? And that is part of your work. That is part of the story that you are here to fulfill. And this grand tapestry don't sing, look as pretty, or shine the same without you, all right? So get to it. Now, for our direction card, how do we best tap into or really sort of delve into that uniqueness that we need to express, where we are leading by example? I know what you're thinking, that one seems to want out, and it is the Knight of Wands, through your passion, right? So whatever the things are that you have put down that are your passions, the things that you love to do, this week you are being asked to pick them back up, right? Whether that is dancing, whether it's reading, whether it's researching or studying, whatever that passion thing is that gets you fired up and ignited by life, you're being told to pick it back up this week. On top of that, you've got the Nine of Pentacles, and you got to work damn hard at it. There ain't none of this maybe in, maybe out business. It's you're either in or you're out. We're in Libra season, people. And then on top of that, we've got the Seven of Pentacles. So this week, it's not about rewards. It's about getting to work. It's about really re-identifying, I guess, for some of you, especially as Mercury at this point over the course of this week is newly direct. And we'll be picking up steam. What I will also say to you here as well, that Knight of Wands is basically saying you got to hop back onto the horse, right? No matter how long you've had a break for, it's time to get back to it. Nine of Pentacles, but you got to work hard at this. Be prepared to show up consistently, honestly, and even to admit that it hurts. It's like, you know, that moment where you go back to workouts or whatever, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so out of shape and this really hurts, but you get back to it. Eventually you will love it. With the Seven of Pentacles here, the message is you may not necessarily see results this week. It might be one of those weeks where you kind of feel like, okay, I'm back to it. I'm doing the hard work craft, but there's like literally nothing happening. That's not the case. It's all stuff that's taking place, but taking place under the surface. So what I want to say to you is, if this week you don't see anything, you don't see any sort of external movement or whatever, it's just the process, right? You've got to work hard at it still, and you can't give up. This is not one of those weeks where you can do a bit and it's like, well, you know, nothing's happening, so I'm just going to quit. You have to push through. That's the Seven of Pentacles, right? You've got to have that patience. If what you put in and invest, Seven of Pentacles, is the hard work and also the love of what you do, the Nine of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands, that is you really authentically living your path, right? Because you accept that it's going to have ups and downs with it no matter what. For your insight cards, what may be happening behind the scenes that we might not be aware of at this moment in time, we have... Ooh, okay, those seem to want out, and there are 3 of them. All right, so the first one, we've got the Six of Wands. Your victory and your success is basically in your hands this week, but you have to celebrate the small wins, all right? There's not going to be huge sweeping moments of, oh, look at this is amazing, look what's happened. It's going to be that slow, steady, incremental success. You've got the Hanged Man with the Six of Wands. Can you say delayed gratification, honey? And then you've got the King of Swords. So there's a few ways that this could play out, right? In terms of people in your life, the King of Swords is usually somebody that's very gifted or very intelligent. They tend to be somebody that is, you know, at the height of their game. Because they come up with the Hanged Man here, I'm not saying be wary of anybody that comes into your life. What I am saying is be discerning about where this person or these new people or even this new group fits into the life that you're trying to build yourself. There is a message here. You have to be discerning. Whatever or whoever you're choosing to align yourself with this week, ask yourself, does it really fit with what I'm trying to build or where I'm trying to go from here on in? Outside of that, another way that this could show up for a select few of you, if you're open to it, a spiritual guru, mentor, or assist could come through somebody that you maybe don't expect it from. I wonder if as well, for some of you, this might be a really profound, deep, or spiritual conversation that you have with somebody that maybe you just saw, like, it's, you know, like sometimes you have a colleague that you know, you meet through work or whatever. I mean, in my line of work, totally obvious, but in, let's say, the normie or the day job, right? And you're like, yeah, you know, they're cool. I know them through work. That's it. And then one day you have this mad, profound, deep conversation with them. And you're like, how is it we've been all this time working next to each other and we never knew how deeply similar we are, or how, you know, profound our minds work, etc. So this could be really nice. What I will also say is, on the wider world stage, the direction cards do suggest there are going to be plans initiated this week that are shunted forward, right? And so this, you know, we've got the whole cost of living crisis here in the UK. It's a whole thing, the energy crisis, blah, blah, blah. You know, be afraid of everything. So, sorry, I'm probably startled somebody out there. Outside of that, what I'm seeing here is they're putting something in place that over time will probably actually be quite beneficial for everybody. It's being implemented too quickly. It's kind of like that, you know, when you put on the target top, but you haven't quite lost the exact amount that you needed to. So it looks kind of good, but you can tell it doesn't really fit totally comfortably. That's that. With the insight cards here, on a sort of wider world stage, I would call the King of Swords, that's King Charles. And I gotta say, it looks like he's got a problem with his health this week, and I really hope that's not the case. If it is, I wouldn't be surprised if it's something to do with either water retention. Now, I know a lot of people are worried about his mitts, and I think that's just diet, to be completely honest with you. But I wonder if this is going to be something of that nature, or maybe there'll be a cancellation of some plan or journey that he was supposed to take because his health isn't good. Don't panic, he's not keeling over. It's just, that's the feeling that I get from it. Outside of that, on a more sort of global scale, watch out for the news around the travel industry this week. I think there's going to be some very interesting developments, and I would also say that this week, yeah, just keep your spiritual wits about you. Now, as I said in the last video, and I'm going to keep talking about this, especially as we start to move ever closer to 2023. Now, right, if you don't have one yet, get back to work, right? Get to work or get back to work, whichever it might be for you, on building a solid spiritual practice, really deepening your meditation skills, and ultimately those things will feed into you really feeding and getting used to your intuition and how it speaks to you. You still have time before 2023 gets here, but you're going to need that ability to be discerning. So build it now. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.